The Lord said to Moses, "Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and the bowl of the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread, and assemble all the congregation at the door of the tent of meeting." And Moses did as the Lord commanded him. And the congregation was assembled at the door of the tent of meeting. And Moses said to the congregation, "This is the thing which the Lord has commanded to be done." And Moses brought Aaron and his sons, and washed them with water. And he put on him the coat, and girded him with the sash, and clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod upon him, and girded him with the skillfully woven band of the ephod, binding it to him therewith. And he placed the breastpiece on him, and in the breastpiece he put the Urim and the Thummim. And he set the turban upon his head, and on the turban in front he set the golden plate, the holy crown, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then Moses took the anointing oil, and anointed the tabernacle, and all that was in it, and consecrated them. And he sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar, and all its utensils, and the laver and its base, to consecrate them. And he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him, to consecrate him. And Moses brought Aaron's sons, and clothed them with coats, and girded them with sashes, and bound caps on them, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then he brought the bowl of the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands upon the head of the bowl of the sin offering. And Moses killed it, and took the blood, and with his finger put it on the horns of the altar round about, and purified the altar, and poured out the blood at the base of the altar, and consecrated it, to make atonement for it. And he took all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage of the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and Moses burned them on the altar. But the bull and its skin and its flesh, and its dung, he burned with fire outside the camp, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then he presented the ram of the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. And Moses killed it, and threw the blood upon the altar round about. And when the ram was cut into pieces, Moses burned the head and the pieces and the fat. And when the entrails and the legs were washed with water, Moses burned the whole ram on the altar as a burnt offering, a pleasing odor, an offering by fire to the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then he presented the other ram, the ram of ordination. And Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram. And Moses killed it, and took some of its blood, and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the great toe of his right foot. And Aaron's sons were brought, and Moses put some of the blood on the tips of their right ears, and on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the great toes of their right feet. And Moses threw the blood upon the altar round about. Then he took the fat, and the fat tail, and all the fat that was on the entrails, and the appendage of the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and the right thigh. And out of the basket of unleavened bread, which was before the Lord, he took 1 unleavened cake, and 1 cake of bread with oil, and 1 wafer, and placed them on the fat, and on the right thigh. And he put all these in the hands of Aaron, and in the hands of his sons, and waved them as a wave offering before the Lord. Then Moses took them from their hands, and burned them on the altar with the burnt offering, as an ordination offering, a pleasing odor, an offering by fire to the Lord. And Moses took the breast, and waved it for a wave offering before the Lord. It was Moses' portion of the ram of ordination, as the Lord commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil, and of the blood, which was on the altar, and sprinkled it upon Aaron and his garments, and also upon his sons and his sons' garments. So he consecrated Aaron and his garments, and his sons garments with him. And Moses said to Aaron and his sons, "Boil the flesh at the door of the tent of meeting, and there eat it, and the bread that is in the basket of ordination offerings, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it, and what remains of the flesh and the bread you shall burn with fire. And ye shall not go out from the door of the tent of meeting for 7 days, until the days of your ordination are completed, for it will take 7 days to ordain you. As has been done today, the Lord has commanded to be done to make atonement for you. At the door of the tent of meeting you shall remain day and night for 7 days, performing what the Lord has charged, lest you die. for so I am commanded. And Aaron and his sons did all these things, which the Lord commanded by Moses. On the 8th day Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel, and he said to Aaron, Take a bull calf for a sin offering, and a ram for a burnt offering, both without blemish, and offer them before the Lord, and say to the sons of Israel, Take a male goat for a sin offering, and a calf, and a lamb, both a year old, without blemish, for a burnt offering, and an ox, and a ram for peace offerings, to sacrifice before the Lord, and a cereal offering mixed with oil. For today the Lord will appear to you. And they brought what Moses commanded before the tent of meeting. And all the congregation drew near and stood before the Lord. And Moses said, This is the thing which the Lord commanded you to do, and the glory of the Lord will appear to you. Then Moses said to Aaron, Draw near to the altar, and offer your sin offering, and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and for the people, and bring the offering of the people, and make atonement for them, as the Lord has commanded. So Aaron drew near to the altar, and killed the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. And the sons of Aaron presented the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, and put it on the horns of the altar, and poured out the blood at the base of the altar. But the fat and the kidneys and the appendage of the liver from the sin offering he burned upon the altar, as the Lord commanded Moses. The flesh and the skin he burned with fire outside the camp. And he killed the burnt offering, and Aaron's sons delivered to him the blood, and he threw it on the altar round about. And they delivered the burnt offering to him, piece by piece, and the head, and he burned them upon the altar. And he washed the entrails and the legs, and burned them with the burnt offering on the altar. Then he presented the people's offering, and took the goat of the sin offering, which was for the people, and killed it, and offered it for sin, like the first sin offering. And he presented the burnt offering, and offered it according to the ordinance. And he presented the cereal offering, and filled his hand from it, and burned it upon the altar, besides the burnt offering of the morning. He killed the ox also, and the ram, the sacrifice of peace offerings for the people, and Aaron's sons delivered to him the blood, which he drew upon the altar round about, and the fat of the ox, and of the ram, the fat tail, and that which covers the entrails, and the kidneys, and the appendage of the liver. And they put the fat upon the breasts, and he burned the fat upon the altar. And the breasts and the right thigh Aaron waved for a wave offering before the Lord, as Moses commanded. Then Aaron lifted up his hands toward the people and blessed them. And he came down from offering the sin offering, and the burnt offering, and the peace offerings. And Moses and Aaron went into the tent of meeting, and when they came out, they blessed the people, and the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people. And fire came forth from before the Lord, and consumed the burnt offering, and the fat upon the altar. And when all the people saw it, they shouted, and fell on their faces. To the choirmaster, a psalm of David. I waited patiently for the Lord. He inclined to me and heard my cry. He drew me up from the desolate pit, out of the miry bog, and set my feet upon a rock, making my steps secure. He put a new song in my mouth, a song of praise to our God. Many will see and fear and put their trust in the Lord. Blessed is the man who makes the Lord his trust, who does not turn to be proud, to those who go astray after false gods. You have multiplied, O Lord my God, your wondrous deeds and your thoughts toward us. None can compare with you. Were I to proclaim and tell of them, they would be more than can be numbered. Sacrifice and offering you do not desire, but you have given me an open ear. Burnt offering and sin offering you have not required. Then I said, Behold, I come. In the roll of the book it is written of me. I delight to do your will, O my God, your law is within my heart. I have told the glad news of deliverance in the great congregation. Behold, I have not restrained my lips, as you know, O Lord. I have not hidden your saving help within my heart. I have spoken of your faithfulness and your salvation. I have not concealed your mercy and your faithfulness from the great congregation. Do not, O Lord, withhold your compassion from me. Let your mercy and your faithfulness ever preserve me. For evils have encompassed me without number. My iniquities have overtaken me till I cannot see. They are more than the hairs of my head. My heart fails me. Be pleased, O Lord, to deliver me. O Lord, make haste to help me. Let them be put to shame and confusion altogether, who seek to snatch away my life. Let them be turned back and brought to dishonor, who desire my hurt. Let them be appalled because of their shame, who say to me, Aha, aha. But may all who seek you rejoice and be glad in you. May those who love your salvation say continually, Great is the Lord. As for me, I am poor and needy, but the Lord takes thought for me. You are my help and my deliverer. Do not delay, O my God. Then the soldiers of the governor took Jesus into the praetorium, and they gathered the whole battalion before him. And they stripped him, and put a scarlet robe upon him. And plaiting a crown of thorns, they put it on his head, and put a reed in his right hand. And kneeling before him they mocked him, saying, Hail, King of the Jews! And they spat upon him, and took the reed, and struck him on the head. And when they had mocked him, they stripped him of the robe, and put his own clothes on him, and led him away to crucify him. As they were marching out, they came upon a man of Cyrene, Simon by name. This man they compelled to carry his cross. And when they came to a place called Golgotha, which means the place of a skull, they offered him wine to drink, mingled with gall. But when he tasted it, he would not drink it. And when they had crucified him, they divided his garments among them by casting lots. Then they sat down and kept watch over him there. And over his head they put the charge against him, which read, This is the King of the Jews. Then 2 robbers were crucified with him, one on the right and one on the left. And those who passed by derided him, wagging their heads and saying, You who would destroy the temple and build it in 3 days, save yourself. If you are the Son of God, come down from the cross. So also the chief priests, with the scribes and elders, mocked him, saying, He saved others, he cannot save himself. He is the King of Israel. Let him come down now from the cross, and we will believe in him. He trusts in God. Let God deliver him now, if he desires him, for he said, I am the Son of God. And the robbers who were crucified with him also reviled him in the same way. Nobody likes to wait. Waiting is awkward because it places us between the past and future, where we are sitting still, looking forward to the next step, yet without fulfillment. Leviticus here depicts an ordination ceremony where Aron and his sons are clothed in special priestly garments and sacrifices are made on their behalf. After the initial sacrifices, they have to wait at the door of the tent of meeting for 7 days and nights for the presence of God. As the psalm says, I waited patiently for the Lord. Finally, on the 8th day, Aron offers his first post-ordination sacrifices, a calf, a goat, an ox, and 2 rams. He then blesses the people. As soon as he is finished with these inaugural priestly acts, the glory of the Lord appeared to all the people, and fire came out from the sanctuary to burn up the sacrificial offerings. Aaron's patience pays off. Likewise, Jesus on the cross is taunted to become impatient. The chief priests, the scribes, and the elders say, Let God deliver him now. Little do they realize that Jesus is patiently waiting for his Father to deliver him from death. He drew me up from the desolate pit. In what ways can you wait for the Lord?